The most useful tool that I ever found in managing my time effectively was habit number 5 from Steven Covey. When we look at time management, the first thing we realize is that time is finite. You can't actually manage the time. You can only manage what you do in that time. So the most useful tool that I ever found in managing my time effectively was habit number 5 from Steven Covey, which is putting first things first. And here he teaches us that we got items that are very important and items that are very urgent. And if we draw a matrix of those two and we look at the block which says something that is urgent and important, we all know that when there's a crisis, you have no choice but to attend to it. You have to attend to it to survive. So 80% of our time is typically spent in crisis mode, doing things that are very important and very urgent. So what we learn is if we want to be effective in time management, we need to be managing activities differently. So if we have discipline, and only if we have discipline, are we going to do things that are very important before they are urgent. If we are just being driven by urgency, then we are not going to be successful as we need to be in the time management challenge. We're going to need to be disciplined to actually do those things that are very, very important before they are urgent. Now, what stops us from doing that? Well, frankly, there are many things that do. One of them is chatting on the phone for 20 minutes to a friend about the golf game on Saturday. That's neither important or urgent, but yet we do those things. So we need to have the discipline once again to eradicate those kinds of nebulous items that actually prevent us from achieving what we are setting out to achieve in the day. The other thing that robs us is getting involved in something that's very important to somebody else. That is typically very urgent, but not important, because it's urgent to someone else, not urgent to ourselves. An example of that would be the janitor. He's about to buy a new vacuum cleaner for the office. So he says to you, you're a person I respect. I've got 3 demos this afternoon. I would so like it if you would come and sit with me for half an hour and just look at these demos with me and help me decide what new vacuum cleaner I should buy. You kind of feel obliged to help out. But what we learn there from Steven Covey is say no with a smile. Don't do it. So don't get dragged into something that's very important to somebody else, but not important to you. Now be careful. If your boss asks you for a particular report, it's very important to him and not important to you. But that could have career limiting implications. So we're not talking about those examples. We're talking about things that are going to detract you from doing the things important for you to achieve your personal objectives. So what we learn is it's not about managing the time. It's about managing the activities that we do in that limited amount of time. And again, I can't emphasize it enough. If we do not have the discipline to do things before somebody is screaming for them, we're not going to get on top of the time management challenge. It's the discipline that is going to make the difference of doing those things that are very important but not yet urgent. And in essence, that equates to a process. If we've got certain processes and disciplines that we are following, it is those things that will force us into that quadrant of doing things that are very, very important before they're urgent, and that way we reduce the amount of crises. And we're not being caught up into things that aren't important or aren't urgent, or urgent to somebody else, but not important to us, to stop us from spending the time that we should be on getting those things, those disciplines in place to make us the professionals that we deserve to be.